What do you think? Should we stream some Sorcerer King today, Scott?
We should.
We should? I mean, we already shipped it, so you think we should still stream?
Are we live right now? Are you asking rhetorical questions?
Perhaps. Perhaps. I'm Adam. That's Scott. This is the Stardock channel. We're streaming Sorcerer King today, which we launched last week.
Mm-hmm.
It is our new fantasy strategy game.
Yep.
It is sort of a... It's a lot of things, I guess.
So
if
many
you're just
things.
joining us now. It's got some RPG to it. It's got some roguelike to it. It's got some 4X to it. It's got a lot of things going on. And this is actually a cheated army of Scots. Scott, why are you cheating on the stream?
It wasn't supposed to happen this way.
Oh, it's my fault.
No, it's the AI's fault. I was going to show. So we're showing off 1.01, our first update for the game.
Right.
And there's actually a couple of art assets that we weren't able to get into 1.0 that we're sneaking in. So 1.01 is kind of a cool update in that way because you're getting new city models that look really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the complaints that I had for going into 1.0 was differentiation between unit types.
Yeah,
so
the various the different levels of trogs.
Exactly.
Or darklings or
so
orcs or
like
whatever.
the big bad trogs looks just like the regular trogs, and so anyways, so you'll be getting some new skins. Here are the darkling leaders, the tier 2 darklings, tier 2 trogs
look
and
way better.
archers and stuff. It's
Who did those? Are these Rich
these are
creations?
Rich, yeah, Rich.
Nice.
Rich did those. So
Nice
that
job,
way,
Rich.
when they are coming at you and they look like this, then you can be more scared than usual. Any time that we can, the data is apparent in the visuals, we've won a
Totally.
small battle. So
Totally.
I'm gonna die. So
You know what
just gonna
I'm really
fast
excited
forward.
about in 1.1, or rather in 1.01, which will be, I believe we have opt-in going out tomorrow.
Opt in tomorrow. That's
So you guys can look forward to that. I'm very excited that I finally got to do what I was put on this earth to do, and that is nerf freaking Varda.
she
She's
needed
been-
it. She was
I love Varda. I love
tough
the
cookie.
commander. The commander's my second favorite sovereign.
Okay.
And Varda's a big part of that. But she was so game breaking. We kept getting all these reports of like, oh, I beat the game in this turn and these settings or whatever. And it was
Yeah.
so easy.
Varda.
And it's like
Playing
Varda.
Varda.
It was like
Playing Varda.
85 to 90% of those reports were like from people using Varda.
Yeah.
So she's getting a little nerf. It's not too bad. It's not horrendous. It's she
No.
loses backswing because backswing plus maul is just too. It's just too much.
It's just dumb.
It's just too much. And backswing is thematically, it's always been like an axe thing. And so giving it to Varda, even though she has a sword, was just inconsistent with everything anyway. So we took backswing off of her and changed last stand to be +5 attack, +5 defense, and +5 initiative. As opposed to like plus a jillion everything and you win, which is what it is currently. And those are I'm sorry, and changing Fire Breath.
Fire breath.
Fire Breath now has a tooltip that makes sense, and
And it, yeah.
and does I think 8+4 per shard.
Yeah,
instead
it
of
was-
double her attack. The thing is, you'd give her a new sword, and it's like, hey, sweet, I found this sword, so now my dragon breathes fire for like 70. So
yeah, no, it was that was a stolen ability from the drakes and the
Yes.
dragons, and it didn't. Yeah, it made sense to have that shard driven instead of.
And so it makes it a
Pretty
little
messy,
less. It scaled too well. Like double attack on a hero in Sorcerer King was just way too much. So, Explorminate says, "I'm here to say hi and bye. Gotta run, and to say screw you for ruining my girl Varda. I didn't ruin nothing. Varda is still a boss. She just may not be the absolute best hero at all times anymore. I thought you had to control shards to do drain shard. Is that not the case?
Not with consume.
Huh, fair
I don't
enough.
know.
Anyway, sorry. No, I just got distracted.
Yeah.
Let's see. The CW says, give Rich a raise. They are beautiful, referring to the new unit models,
yes.
or skins, rather, anyway.
Yeah.
No, they're very nice looking. Thank you for the compliment. We will make sure that Rich sees that.
Yep.
Philcus wants us to localize into French, which is not anywhere on the plans right now. The problem is that there's a ton of text in Sorcerer King. So localizing into other languages would be expensive and time-consuming.
Yeah. Normally, what happens is if we team up with a partner that
Right.
publishes, in another territory, they'll front the cost of.
Right.
They have their teams
So I mean, it's not. I don't want to say it's off the table or anything, but I don't have any current plans to share with you guys regarding any localizations today. I apologize. Let's see. Stream is stuttering for Telrias. I think that's on your side. I don't see any lag or anything on my end. Keeping an eye on XSplit here. So I would restart your browser is what I would do. Or maybe Twitch just hates us, which is also possible because I just saw a bunch of viewers poof out of the channel. Nihil Rex says fan translations. Almost all the text is in the data.
Oh, yeah.
So you certainly could, if fans want to do a translation mod, they're more than welcome to it. That would be very, very doable. I mean, it's just a ton of work, like, because it's a lot to translate. But it would be very doable for sure.
The consume spell. The difference between drain and consume is consume can be cast on shards that you don't own.
What do you consume from?
It's a tyrant special ability. Malevolence unlocks.
I thought that
consume.
gave you drain shard.
No, that gives you consume.
What's drain shard then?
It's a spell that anybody can get if you have chaos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a universal.
I didn't realize there was a crappier version that was a universal.
Yep. Yeah.
I guess I never realized that. Okay, well, fair enough.
You have to, like I said, I think it's like, probably a spellbook 6 level thing.
Okay.
So you gotta, yeah.
Explorminate, as always, wants to know what's next before he goes. 1.1 is definitely kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of the hot topic right now. Aside from my my holy mission to nerf Varda, which has finally been completed. So gosh, what's
I just got the approval to end the final battle when you kill the SK.
Oh, nice. So you don't have to wipe up the remaining juggernauts
there were too many Let's Plays where SK would get wiped out and it would be like this moment of triumph that kind of sputtered into did I win? Did I? Oh yeah, I got. There's a harbinger with 2 health. I got to take off. So that would be nice. Do a cool particle effect there and make that moment like
sweet.
Hit hard.
I dig it.
Let's see what else. Just
the new skins for the additional SK unit ranks. Those are going in.
Those are in. Well, those are in for 1. Those are in tomorrow.
Oh,
those
nice.
are in tomorrow.
Okay, never mind.
The big thing with 1.1 will be sovereign casts no longer taking the unit's turn.
Oh, that is actually going to make it in.
Mm-hmm.
I know we were kind of going back and forth on whether or not that was going to happen.
No.
So with that, we're doing a spell rebalance.
We're doing like a spell,
that, right?
It's a big spell pass, including that whole system getting reworked.
Yeah, because we've seen consistent feedback. Not that this is terribly news, I guess, but just the extent of it, of people saying, just that sovereign casts get pointless toward the end of the game because HP numbers get so high and units are so strong that you never want to give up your unit's turn to do a sovereign cast and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're aware of and we're going to do our best to fix. It's part of it is you just charged your Trog into death. That makes me so sad.
We're just
playing.
We're just playing.
All right.
He'll probably die too, so shut up.
Well, I got Brad good and killed last week.
I still need to rewatch that.
You should
stream.
watch it. I was really amused by that stream. I thought that went really well. So part of it is the sovereign cast not taking your unit's turn. Part of it is making sure the spells are balanced and scale appropriately too, because they need to scale reasonably well with the number of shards that you get, or they're going to stay really pointless in the end game, even if it doesn't take your turn.
Yeah, spells being useful late game is, spells being useful throughout the game is of vital importance, but in particular, the end of the game, you got to be needing them.
Yep.
Not,
For sure. The CW points out that the only sovereign cast that stays valuable is Martin's Converge. There's not literally no spells. Converge is a good example. Battlecry always stays useful, which is also a Martin commander thing, as I recall. Or is that a spell? I thought that was a commander.
That can't. No, he gets it.
But it's
a spell. It's also a spell.
Or something. Okay. Yeah. So Battlecry always stays useful. Haste always stays useful. Trying to think of a couple other ones. Death Ward.
Yeah. It's so difficult though because it's got to scale into the late game, but it also can't be a you win button.
Right.
So
growth and slow. Blink Aside points out growth and focus both are ridiculously good. Those are very, very strong for sure. Because anytime you have a percentage bonus to attack, that just can get really, really huge with heroes and stuff at the end game. And not even necessarily heroes. As we all know, paladins get totally absurd as well. So yeah. So just taking a general pass on pretty much all the spells.
Yeah. I'm going to load a new game because I'm not.
All right. You do what you need to do. I might maybe this weekend stream some more of the game that I was
Stream LP?
Streaming. You can load that up if you want. That's the game that I was actually streaming before, so you can kind of see what,
I'm going to
what I was
screw
doing.
your game up so bad.
Oh, no, I have a different save.
Oh, damn
so
it.
this is actually where I finished on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I streamed.
Look at that new building. Come on.
Another 2.5 hours. I know, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I streamed another 2.5 hours on Saturday.
Okay.
So hopefully, I'm hoping to be able to get back down to get back to that this weekend. Maybe, I don't know. I got a lot of other stuff I got to do around my house. Yeah. Dearborn is a boss of a city. Dearborn has a ton of essence, and it was just as nice. I was kind of finishing up my stream on Saturday. I was just transitioning Dearborn into a unit production city, and it was going to be so awesome.
Where was this guy going?
Man, I don't know. Southwest, I think, is where I was kind of expanding from here.
Okay.
If you check where the heroes are, because the thing is, Varda is down by the SK stronghold.
Oh yeah.
The Varda statue is. I mean, so but yeah, play around, okay. see what a 70 turns in looks like when somebody good is playing the game. It'll be a new experience for you, Scott.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Philcus was trying to drop a link in chat. Drop the link into, just send it via Twitter or something, so we can check it out. I'd love to check out, any support for the French localization, which I know is you're pushing for. Like I said, we'd love to do it. It's just a matter of, we have to have our priorities ultimately. Let's see. Black Smoked Max is glad to see the giveaways or the streams continue. Thanks, man. You've been a stalwart in the streams for sure. We appreciate having you here. Island Dog, I think, is going to do a giveaway in the chat. So if you're not in the chat, tab over, check out the chat. You might win a little something. That'll be cool. So let's see. Anyway, what else? What the hell was I talking about? Spells, probably.
1.01.
Yeah.
We're putting the spellbooks back in, the spellbook enchants.
Oh, we are.
But we're going to do them as one-time use deals. So
we talked about that. That's right.
You start off the game, and based on your spellbooks, you're going to have 8 loot items that you can use to enchant at some point in the game. Mm-hmm. But once you use them, you use them. So nice. That lets us make them a little bit more awesome. It gives the player an interesting choice versus being this mana dump of, I have these reusable things.
Right. I'm just going to throw +1 cold attack on everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and we can make them cool. We can make them awesome.
Yeah.
If they're kind of one-shot things, and you have to think about when do I want to use this?
Yeah.
And that gives a little bit more personality to the spellbooks too, which is nice because we could use a little bit more of that. I'm glad to hear that made it into 1.1. I know that came out of our meeting the other day. Or actually, I think you brought that to the meeting. I think that came out of some other conversation.
That came out of
Chris or somebody that had.
No, me and Brad were talking at our dinner.
That's right, on the team dinner. That's right.
That was a Long Island idea.
That's the best kind of island.
I was surprised how that was a Long Island idea that actually worked the day after.
It's a good idea, though.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
So definitely that. We're going to continue just kind of cleaning up a lot of stuff in SK. There's a lot of items, there's weird stuff where people are able to use axes who shouldn't, and stuff like that, which is just going through. It's it's kind of tedious because you have to just go through all the data and see
it's a lot of stuff
missing this flag.
You think you get them all, and then it turns out you missed one that was at the end of the Excel file or something.
Right. So we're working on it. Those are it's
what okay, so this is what terrified me. The weekend after the game went out, we get this big increase in players, and all of a sudden all these bugs start popping up this is wrong, and this this isn't working, and and pretty much everything were bugs that we had fixed the month before going out. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And sure enough, it's if you are in this situation and it's a like
super
edge
weird
a lot
edge
of edge
cases.
case repeats of bugs that we had fixed. So it's like, yeah, we're fixing a lot of that stuff where if you're in the right situation, such and such bug will appear. AOE, this isn't going into tomorrow or 1.01, but Summon Wisp, Summon Warg, their AOE on summon effects were not working. So
yes,
they will work
Hooray!
in one of the updates that we
Hooray!
have. So
yeah, and there's other weird stuff. In 1.1, there's a fix for my white whale, which has been the scouts and falcons and stuff, not ignoring the movement penalty in like Arctic forest and desert forest and stuff like that. That is because of this totally dumb thing in the data structure where those forests, they're not actually like forest is not a modifier to an existing tile. It's actually its own type of tile in the way that it's defined in the game. And so we couldn't say like just ignore forest penalties. We have to go in and explicitly say everyone ignore Arctic forest penalties, ignore desert forest penalties, ignore volcanic forest penalties, all that stuff, and add those to all the abilities that do that. So anyway, that's going to be fixed in 1.1, I believe, which is very exciting.
I like the imp.
I like the imp okay. He tends to get squished so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, not against Darklings, but
No, but when he can hold his own, it's kind of cool to see him keep going.
Absolutely. The CW wants to know if we're still doing the drinking game where when Scott does something dumb, they take a drink.
Something dumb?
Because Scott just took a 4-hammer tile that game that gave a city range improvement instead of a better tile that gave 5 hammers. So
don't watch these streams to learn how to.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say definitely do not watch these streams in order to learn strategy. When I'm streaming, I mean, to be honest, it's also like we're talking about the game and we're taking questions and all that kind of stuff. I rag on Scott, but
I'm just moving the camera around so there's video to. Yeah, this is more audio podcast than.
Yeah, it kind of is. But no, I actually talk a lot about like the strategy of what I'm doing and how things are going and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. So if you're more into that, check that out, and I'll try to be as informative as I can be anyway. Let's see. Okay, so this is an issue that's been around for a while, and we've been trying to figure out how we want to unpack it and deal with it. So Black Smoked Max says, any comment on the Steam thread about the Guardian's Quickfire actually taking up the unit's turns rather than giving a free shot at the beginning of combat? It taking up your turn could cause issues. It might almost be a hindrance rather than a help in some situations, which is a totally legit grievance, and I don't really know how to deal with it. So you know what we're talking about here, Scott?
Oh, absolutely.
You want me to run back through? Okay.
No. We're going to recreate. I've been wanting to recreate that scenario and dissect it. So let's debug this problem. Isn't that a fun stream thing to do, debugging?
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It's like you only get that from developer streams, right?
Yeah.
You don't get that from
that's
from
true.
Whoever,
yeah.
Like,
okay, so the problem is, for anybody who doesn't know, the Ranger unit has a ability called Quickfire, which looks awesome on paper, but it may not be the most awesome when you really get into it. Basically, any archers once you get this ability, any archer units in his army will fire. They get to fire on, the AI takes control and auto fires. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool to see you take out some of the weaklings. And
yep. Conceptually, it's really neat.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, we ambush them, we get a couple free shots. Awesome.
Yeah, it feels good. The problem is when you really look at the math, sometimes it looks like they may move so far back in the initiative list that it would have been better for them not to take that free move.
Right.
So what we're going to look for here is exactly how far back in the initiative list they go. Because sometimes it feels like they're getting pushed back, but really they have such low initiative, they may have not been going, that may just be where they would have gone regardless.
Right.
So I want to find out about that.
I'm pretty convinced, Scott, and you're not going to like this. I'm pretty convinced that all the extra turn code is messy and behaving erratically. Because it happens with Drogon, too.
I don't like that.
It happens with Drogon with his dwarven whatever the crap. His thing where he gets extra turns for killing things.
Yeah.
It totally happens with that, too. And there's some other... like the Battlecry spell, Drogon's command ability.
I don't like
Anything that gives extra turns. I think we might have a larger issue. No, you don't like that?
No, I don't like that. I'm ignoring you. I'm focused on this. Sorry. What'd you say? I hope it's not a code issue because
I think it might be.
Okay.
Well,
actually,
anyway, we'll check it out.
Okay.
Just control it, dog. There you go.
All right.
Find some dudes. There's some nice.
I want. So
archers
here's
there.
what I want. I want 2 groups of the same dudes.
I think those guys, and then the guys directly to
Bam, bam.
There you go.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, let's set this up. It's gonna be aesthetically pleasing. So he has to be in the middle, and then I'll attack these guys. So what do we do? Attack here. Just so let me get real close to that ability. So research spell. No, not research spell.
Jeez, Scott, come on.
Shh, calm down.
I'm getting antsy here.
We'll get there. Okay, power shot.
You don't need power shot. You just need survivalist and range.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Or did you just make him like level a
quick
billion?
fire. I did. Okay,
No,
so
no,
he's right
okay,
before.
so
I did not get quick fire
Okay,
yet.
all right.
Okay, so let's see where they are in the initiative list for this battle.
Okay.
Oh, I figured out what this is. This is there's a summoned. He gets summoned, and so that is the
Oh.
on awaken effect.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, he needs a separate. What we need is a summoned version of the bear, and
Interesting. Okay. all right.
anyways,
Anyway, no, I'm glad that you figured out what that was because I could not figure
just
what the heck
figured
it
that out
was
this morning.
for the life of me. All right.
Okay,
So we have Paragon first,
Okay,
followed by Dinguses, followed by Bear,
I'm gonna print screen this
All right.
mofo.
followed by further Dinguses, followed by the Archers.
Yeah, so
That's what we got here.
So basically, besides the ranger, it's all besides the ranger and Ben.
The bandits are all.
The
going
bandits
first.
are always going first.
Are those snipers or archers? Because we need to buff snipers too, by the way. Maybe that'll go
Yeah.
1.1.
I just realized that I
Snipers
need
are too
to technically for this to work, I need to get out of this alive.
Or cheat new units up.
Oh,
Either
that's
way.
true. That's true. Or I can cheat new spells and new mana.
There you go. Does that even work from in here?
Oh hell yeah!
Bam.
All
Oh
right,
yeah, just like
here we go.
just
Flame wave.
wave them. Yeah. There you go.
All right, win.
Hashtag winning.
All one. Okay. Hey Ben, flame wave. Do it.
Getting it done. Hopefully you don't level off this either, because that could screw with it. Oh, it's got a cooldown. Blizzard?
Escape.
Escape. Yes.
Why didn't I
Actually,
do-
perfect.
Yeah. Why did?
Because that way you don't get XP.
Okay.
All right. The keyword is time for battle. Drop it in the chat if you want a chance to win whatever it is Island Dog is giving away. All right.
Okay,
now,
so let's champ level
the
up.
same group.
Quick fire. Same
Okay.
exact group. Same exact group.
nope. Not this.
Whoa.
Oh wait. Is that the same guys? I thought that was the guys you murdered. Half of them.
No.
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
murdered
sorry.
these guys.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
Oh my goodness, my heart rate is through the roof. That
It would have been a disaster.
Whoa.
Can you imagine?
All right, quick fire.
Okay.
After Ben sparkles.
It's very important for Ben to sparkle first.
Okay, so
So Archer, getting the murder on.
where
We
they-
need to clarify the archery captain or whatever to note that Paragon gets the bonus too. Put that on the list. I mean, I'll do it. I'll fix
Yeah.
the tooltip. But
Okay, so now what do we have?
so now we have
Ben.
Dingus is going.
They
Then
I just had
Paragon.
2 guys go. Now we're holding on Ben.
Yeah, so I think it did take turns, sort of.
It's just the initiative list is a little.
It's a little goofy.
Okay, so
So Paragon definitely got his turn delayed, and the archers definitely did too. No, they totally did because each of these guys are getting 2 turns before the archers go, whereas before they got 1. Now some of them are dead, like we killed 2 of the archers, so that part is a little off. But yeah, no, it's definitely delaying their initiative. So what in the world are you doing?
I'm trying to get to the screenshots.
Ugh.
Jeez.
Whoa, who does that?
Screenshots. That's I do when I'm
All
a
right.
viewer.
all right.
Okay. I just need to be able to cycle back and forth. Okay, so that's so clean, and then round. So
So-
that's round 2. So they were in round 2, and now they're in round 3.
Yep. Yep.
All
So
right.
it's probably
Fine.
resetting them back down to 0 initiative, like 0 on the count.
Yeah.
I'm guessing is what's happening. Because it's probably so it should, rather than resetting them to whatever their value was before they got the free turn, which is what it should be doing.
But where are they? Okay, I don't know how the initiative list is set up, so I'm not even going to pretend.
I suppose it is more of a Charles problem.
Yeah.
But we'll fix it. No worries. All right. Are there plans at any point
All
to
right.
include global buffs to fights depending on the kind of terrain the fight takes place on?
Wait, what is that? An idea for?
Yeah, well, it's just a question out of chat. Are there plans for like global effects? So like if you fight in a forest, there's this thing or whatever.
That's honestly always been on our. That's always been like 3 things down on our to-do list, and other things just keep bumping it down. No major plans right now, but I certainly like the idea. We've talked about ways to. I mean, we've gone as far as like specking out how to implement it.
Sure.
And different ideas for the different ones, but it just never got in.
Looks like Bryce Cole won the giveaway, so congratulations, Bryce Cole. Presumably, I think Island Dog is giving away Sorcerer King Steam keys, so I think he just won a copy of the game, which, lucky you, because the game is super fun, if I do say so myself.
It really is.
So effects on terrains, because we can check what the terrain tile is that the battle's on.
Yeah.
And,
and
fire off. So like it's in the code already. We can do it.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of like coming up with things that are fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And not just
Basically.
like, oh god, I can't use magic in this one. That sucks.
Right.
It's very easy to make limiters.
Right.
It's like, okay, you can't do this, but that isn't always fun. So.
Totally. So
Yeah.
Gilmoy's trolling me about programming, which is too bad because I'm not a programmer.
What's he say? I'll get it. What's the joke?
Events such as On Awaken sound familiar. Have you ever seen the bug pattern where an event handler appends itself to a target while the target is handling the event so that it responds to its own event?
Sounds recursive. Sounds
It
like
does sound recursive.
you don't know what recursive
I totally
is.
know what recursive is. Hey,
That's a
I'll
code.
have you know that I studied 2 years of computer science before dropping out of college, Scott. I will have you know, sir. I will get some pistols so we can settle this at dawn if need
Me
be.
and my wife have this joke. Anytime I say something, she doesn't know what it is. Did you have a humanities class in?
I don't know. I lost track of how many friggin' humanities. classes
Okay,
I've
like
taken over the course
humanities
of my
was like the hoity-toity. That's what the
life.
and I was in humanities, and she's like, "Oh, humanities, sorry." Like,
It's all
Just
the
for
Dostoevsky
everything.
and whatnot. Yeah. Ugh. Well, as long as it's not Hawthorne. Dostoevsky, you can actually read and get something out of. Hawthorne is just it's the Kevorkian of novels. It's there to assist you in killing yourself because that's all you're going to want to do after reading freaking Hawthorne.
okay, I'm gonna go. Do you watch?
If you're in a class, by the way, and you've been assigned Hawthorne for reading, I suggest you should actually read it and not use me as an excuse. Anyway, sorry, I may have gotten a little off track.
No, I was about to get more off track, so it's better.
No, please. It's all good.
Okay, so on Netflix, there's a show called BoJack Horseman.
You're all obsessed with that lately.
I kind of am. Well, it's like there's some good stuff in it, and one of the good things that they have is that they're trying to find a director for this TV show, and they end up finding J.D. Salinger, the Catcher in the Rye guy, who's like known for, not really liking TV, and they end up and the joke is that he ends up making this show for them all about celebrities getting asked questions, and I'm ruining it so bad.
I never want to see this show now.
No,
I'm never going to watch BoJack Horseman
it's-
because you just made it sound like the most boring.
No, it's all about. It's basically if they took the persona of Job from Arrested Development, put him.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, put him in an animated. He's a horse. He's a horseman. And he used to be the star of basically a Full House show, but now he's a has-been, and he's dealing with all his stuff. in this
Okay.
world of anthropomorphic animals and humans coexist.
Okay.
But it's so good. It is so like it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
All right.
Like it's up there with Breaking Bad.
Wow. Okay. Fair
It
enough.
actually has
Fair enough.
Jesse from Breaking Bad plays a character similar to Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Okay. I'll consider watching. I'm watching The Americans right now, which is super, super good.
Okay.
And everybody should watch that too, provided you're over like 30, because it's got a lot of sex and violence. But it's a really good show. And Kerry Russell is amazing in it.
So does BoJack Horseman. So anyways, Sorcerer King.
Gilmoy says that SK lieutenants should molest volcanoes and then cast a region spell that buffs all Erikson with fire and burn bonuses for a few turns. I don't know about the volcano molestation, but I would love to see lieutenants doing more awesome
I would
stuff.
love lieutenants to like have a purpose in life and say, I'm going to, this is what I'm going to do. Because right now they kind of wander. Like if you get too close, they do an AoE spell on the main map that does something.
Right. Yeah, something to make them, and I want them to be scary. Like they're just not scary. They kind of wander and they hang out and whatever, and like you can fence them in with outposts and like whittle them down with outposts, and it feels really gamey and really cheesy, and like that sucks. Like I want to get something, but those are longer term things, I guess. But man, this is
I'm just
not
getting
going
worked.
well.
So what else happened this week? Actually, what's funny is internally we've been spending a lot of time watching Let's Plays because they are super fascinating to see how people play. Mostly first timers. It's very eye opening as to all the UI sins we commit.
Thompson says, just like how Q from Star Trek plays in My Little Pony, a character like Q from Star Trek. Having not watched any My Little Pony, I cannot speak to the veracity of this claim.
I've heard about that.
If we could get Q into Sorcerer King, that would be ideal.
I thought the coolest thing that My Little Pony did was they had those two characters from BioShock Infinite on there, the brother and sister.
Big brother and little sister.
No, BioShock Infinite.
The Lutesses.
The Lutesses, yeah. Like there were horse versions of them. And the cool thing about that was that it was actually like that's kind of canonical if you take BioShock Infinite.
They live in
infinite
this
worlds,
quantum, whatever. Yeah.
It's like that was really them in pony form, but it worked.
Nice. Let's see. Nihil Rex says you should be able to give the lieutenants a map and have them get lost. I'm just imagining like how that works. Like go up, like, excuse me, Mr. Fire Demon, I have a map for you. He's like, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this looks useful.
I guess I should go over here now.
You slink away, giggling.
I'd love to have. Oh man, you know, what'd be awesome is if you get to like 4 out of 5 with one of the miners, have a chance that like the lieutenants are like, hey, you guys are getting too close, and they like start moving toward the miner, and then they do something. How sweet.
I had always wanted that mechanic, the Sorcerer King's coaxing of the miners over to his side to actually be like something that happens on the map. So he has like basically a dark emissary unit that you can go and kill if you don't want him flipping.
Skinned up and like ready to go.
Probably.
Figure out a way to make it work.
No, there was. I think there was concerns just about.
Go kill the Yeti.
I don't know.
Kill him. Kill him. He's so smelly. Kill him.
All right.
Jeez.
That's a garrote.
Whatever. It's a stinky Yeti. Yeah, don't kill him with the Pioneer. Okay. I thought you were going to move the Pioneer onto him. And I was like, no.
Was that the right one? I didn't really know.
Well, no, there's the wrong one because that doesn't get you the horses. Not that it really matters.
Okay.
CW says lieutenants could change the landscape, transforming tiles to lava or Arctic or whatever.
I've always, that was always something that I wanted, like leave a trail of like fire so
or like snowstorms or something.
Yeah,
that would be cool. I mean, we have that effect where like the Inferno effect burns the tile for 5 turns or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I have always wanted, and this is like Brad hates this idea, which is too bad, but I've always wanted to have the lieutenants give vision on them.
So when you come within X amount, they start following you?
No, like that you literally get vision on the lieutenants.
Oh, yeah. I had
I
always
want that so bad because two things. First, it gives you like early on, like, what the hell is this thing? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a big
Oh,
number.
I wanted it to be something you unlocked, so that way, Lieutenant Sight was something like you got halfway through the game, you go, I haven't found them yet. This is something I need.
Because, man, looking for the lieutenants, if you like get to the point in the game where you're like, oh, I want to go kill the lieutenants, and then you don't know where they are, is like the worst. It is just the absolute worst. And normally, like, you run into him at some point, you're like, okay, Agathon's somewhere down in the southwest, whatever, I'll go deal with him when the time comes. And it's not usually too bad, but I have definitely gotten into games where it's like, all right, where in the world is this stupid guy?
Especially in large maps and huge maps. It's
so something to deal with that would be good. Although now, once you're at threat 5, they'll start coming after you, so you won't.
Yeah,
really,
they'll come to you.
That was actually previous to that was the last time I had that happen, so that might not even be that much of an issue anymore. Gilmore suggests land sharks, which is solid, although we don't have any candygrams in the game, nor pizza delivery, so I don't know how land shark would actually make it into any of the cities. But it's not a bad idea. I do like land sharks. Sharks are hot right now. There's somebody just punched a shark or something. There's like
it was
all over Reddit.
It was the shark or him.
It's a really good move to move your mage up into range so that the big Yeti monster can go punch him.
We're talking about sharks, and I got. No, what made me mad about land shark is that I came up with a comic strip all about land sharks, and these teenage kids that lived underwater, and they were half mermaid, and basically it was awesome. And then I found out that land shark was a thing from Saturday Night Live, and that
sad.
Yeah.
And then there was left shark. Most recently, left shark is all over the place.
I don't know what left shark is.
Well, it's from the Sting where Americans watch people play this thing called football. You may have heard of it.
I've heard of that.
They have a championship game every year. It's called the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh!
There is a.
It's on my birthday,
so
show. Yeah. Left shark. Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Okay,
yes,
I'm
Katy
there.
Perry and actually, I thought she did okay in the halftime show. She's no Springsteen. The Boss absolutely killed it last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was.
Wasn't she on a giant unicorn at some point?
She was on a giant elephant or something. It was pretty sweet. No, she did all right. I thought that Missy Elliott had a little spot in there. She was pretty awesome. She was rocking some her and her backups were rocking like serious awesome like 80s like Raider that like 80s Raiders like starter jacket look. They were totally rocking that, which was sweet. Island Dog's doing another giveaway. So
but we're
check out the
talking
chat.
about last year's,
which is super important. Shut up.
It's very timely.
Whatever. Prince was also really good in his Super Bowl show. So anyway, are there different playable races in the game, or is the leader the only difference? Really, the leader is the primary difference. You always play the same faction. And I mean, the leaders do play pretty differently. I guess people are split in their opinions of how differently each leader plays. I am of the opinion that they play quite differently myself. Although there are certainly people in the forums who would argue that with me. The key word is Team Left Shark. I love it. So yeah, I mean, I actually did a series of videos which are being posted all week to the Stardock YouTube channel that one of each focuses on kind of each one of the sovereigns. So you can get a sense of like, oh, this is what the commander does. This is what the priestess does. Yeah. So you can definitely check those out. This here is a priestess playthrough.
Hence the Destiny's Favor.
Hence the Destiny's Favor. This, tell you what, Scott, you'll be happy to hear this. The Heavenly Ward or whatever, the Super Death Ward spell, so useful in this game.
Told you.
Awesome. No, because I put it on a I believe by this point she had been renamed Sweeney Todd. Because it was a former barber. It was a former barber who's a cleric, and she was just awesome because I put the Death Ward thing on her. And so she could actually survive. She's died like 9 times or whatever. But she kept surviving because she had the Death Ward, and now she's like level 1 billion or like 6. And so like her blessing spell is awesome because that blessing spell scales with unit level.
Yeah.
And so she does blessing, and everybody gets like +6 attack.
Oh, nice.
And it's just totally baller. So that actually has been
Sweeney
super
Todd.
super awesome.
Level 5, nice.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Island Doc dropped the YouTube link in the chat, so you. Can
So you'd
follow
be
that.
pretty pissed if I got rid of this enchantment, huh?
Well, you do what you want. Like I have my real save. That I'm gonna
that's
be playing
right.
on. So. I also gave her the like Crown of Magic or whatever that gives her all her enchantments are free. So I didn't have the maintenance cost eventually once I got that, which was helpful. I've had like no mana this entire game. This right, the point where you kind of loaded in was the point where I finally started getting some kind of freaking mana.
Yeah, 5 per turn. That's
5 per turn's okay. I mean, I'm
It's
spending a lot on enchantments because I think this is a custom game where I gave because I have Coercion as my special instead of because it's so much better than Destiny's Favor. Sorry, or whatever super divine whatever.
Yeah,
divine wisdom I think it's called. Anyway, because then I've just been able to have Plymouth cranking out awesome units. Because I got a couple auras early on. It's been good times. Yeah, I might play this. No, I can't play this tonight because I have a showing on my house tonight, so I can't stream. I guess I could stream super late.
That is disappointing.
We need to have like a little background of him steepling his fingers, really, for most of those. Hey, congrats, Creature of Existence, on winning the giveaway. You've been another one of our stalwart stream companions for many moons. Creature of Existence is often is kind of one of the mainstays of the Galciv stream that we do every Friday. So cool. I'm glad that some of our homies are getting hooked up. It's always good to see. Although I like it when new people get hooked up too. So it's all good. All right. Tayakraman says, would it be possible to import FE to the SK engine or make it look like SK? You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
So the art would be kind of impossible to do. That would be almost like making a new game.
Oh my goodness.
But we are going to be, Brad has said publicly, we are going to be doing a Fallen Enchantress / Legendary Heroes kind of 2.0, which is going to backport a lot of the fixes that we've made to the engine and
we just had
AI improvements and stuff like that.
Just had that meeting yesterday or today.
So there will be a lot of the improvements that we made in SK will be brought back to the Fallen Enchantress franchise.
But the
that
visuals,
said, the art,
oh my gosh.
The art would be impossible. One of the big things, and people probably don't know this if they don't like work in game development or think about game development a lot, but so one of the reasons that SK looks as good as it does is because we don't have visually customizable units. Outside of Heroes change their look when they get new weapons. They get a new weapon model. But other than that, everybody looks the same. And frankly, it's so much easier and it's so much cheaper to create better art when that's the case. Because otherwise you have to worry about, oh my God, this piece, these shoulders have to fit with every piece, every shield, every chest piece, every skeleton, of every unit skeleton, like everything. It makes it so much harder. It's like, it's great and it's awesome, and Slay Beast would have been maybe helpful there, but it's awesome and we love it, and a lot of people have been like, oh, this is such, SK is so disappointing because I used to be able to customize my units in Legendary Heroes or whatever, but what you don't necessarily see is that you actually there are definite benefits to not having that be the case. And that said, I mean, it would have been awesome to be able to have all that cosmetic customization and stuff, but frankly, it was never going to happen in Sorcerer King. It would have significantly increased the development cost of the game to the point where it's like, it would have been a radically different game. So if we were going to do that, we probably would have just made like LH2, which is not what we wanted to do. Or FE2 or whatever you want to say. So anyway, so that's the story on bringing SK improvements over to LH. And man, we got to dial back some of the clouds on this map for real. Because
they get.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. What do you say? Left shark is the best shark. Heard that. Let's see. Giveaway. Hey, BXP Thunder, who is he's Thunder. He is the community manager. Or that might not be his title, but he's a community guy anyway at Bonus XP, who are our friends who do Servo, which is an RTS, which is in early access. They stream every Thursday, so they'll be streaming tomorrow. You can check them here on the Stardock channel on Twitch. I suggest that you do. I actually just saw today a screenshot of a new, actually I think it's an improved map that looks like 10 times better than any Servo map has to date. So Servo is really making some good progress in early access. So it's definitely worth checking out.
I saw some cool T-shirts downstairs.
We also got some T-shirts.
Are those for anybody?
Yeah, go grab
Okay.
one. I
already
forgot to
did.
grab-
I just want to make sure it was okay.
Yeah, no, they're up for grabs.
Cool.
Yeah, the bonus XP guys sent us some T-shirts. So
Thank you, bonus
shout out to
XP
them.
guys.
Thank you, bonus XP guys and girls. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. On the next LAH, not the update, the real next, hint, hint, says Black Smoked Max. Keep the customizing, just not the showing of the customization. That's an interesting compromise.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're trying to bait me into saying what that game may or may not be, and I'm smarter than that sometimes, so I'm not going to tell you that. Other than to say that there are some exciting things going on, and everybody, I think the excitement level for the next thing that we announce is going to be very high. That's what I think.
What's that?
Hey, you're trying to get me in trouble.
You
stop
almost
it.
fell.
Oh my God. Servo streams on Tuesdays. I'm such an a-hole. I'm so sorry, Thunder. Servo streams on Tuesdays. Check them out on Tuesdays, would you? Who streams on Thursdays? Oh, OTC streams on Thursdays. Duh. I knew that. Anyway.
Sorry, bonus XP.
Sorry,
guys.
bonus XP guys. They give us T-shirts and everything.
I know, and you
completely
just-
screwed the pooch. Boy, oh boy.
People come in looking for servo. They're gonna find OTC. They're gonna think,
Ugh.
way to go,
Man.
Adam.
But you should check out Servo or OTC too, because OTC is also awesome.
We have a lot of games in the
We
pipeline.
have a ton of games. We have a ton of games. Anyway, gosh, wow, I really stuck my foot into it that time. Hi, boy. Lord Stewart has to go to the doctor. Good luck with that. He's a new person joining us. He said he saw us on the Angry Joe show.
Oh, awesome.
And decided to come check it out. So thanks
Sorry,
for that.
we're not as crazy as Angry
We're never
Joe.
going to be as crazy as Joe, but we love Joe.
Man,
And-
I learned. I was watching that stream. His was actually one of the ones that we learned the most from, because I don't think that Joe 2 had played before.
Right.
So things like the spider. Like every time he would move that spider close, I'm like, move him back and web. Like, why are you moving him back and web? And he would just use him as a regular melee unit. And even when he figured out the to use the tangled web, he used it at point blank range.
Right.
And it was so painful to watch. So we went in and gave like a better description, talking about how tangled web is.
We could probably use a
ranged and-
tutorial pop up the first time you get into combat.
you have so many different abilities. I mean, the game
do.
is
You do.
overflowing with unit abilities. It'd be hard
is.
to.
Well, no, not a tutorial pop up like every time, but just the first time.
But
you
just
get
to
into a
say, be
tactical-
sure to check out.
or maybe
this.
like the third or fourth time.
Yeah.
Can we? If we could do like some logic, this is totally
Oh,
fine.
yeah,
This guy
yeah,
here, Patrick, is going to kill me. Patrick's our new producer on Sorcerer King, so he's inherited the killing me duties from Chris Bray. But no, so Patrick is going to kill me. But if we could do like a little bit of logic of if you get into your third tactical battle and you haven't used a special ability,
Actually,
yet,
that's what we're doing with the Sovereign Spellbook, because
I
we
know.
saw,
people
Yeah.
not seeing that, so that would be super helpful. You should go kill that Trog that's up in your zone.
Okay, with him.
Man, those cities do look totally better.
Yeah. It's so funny because Rich was like, man, I got to retouch those. And I'm thinking, they look sweet, man. And then he retouched them, and then I saw what he saw. Look at like all the moss and stuff. Yeah, they look so good.
They do. I will never be anything approaching an artist, I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
Let's see. Tentalier says, nothing to do with SK, but any inside intel about Sins of a Solar Empire 2 by any chance? Man, if I had something to say about Sins of a Solar Empire 2, I would probably not say it on the Sorcerer King stream. I think that there
be
would
the
probably
worst
be...
announcement platform.
not that we don't love you guys, but I think we would give that announcement the appropriate fanfare and love and excitement that it deserves. Because
I'd love to work with the Ironclad guys.
Ironclad guys are
That's for
amazing.
sure.
The Ironclad guys are amazing, and we, when there's something to talk about with Sins of a Solar Empire 2, believe me, we will talk about it far and wide.
If
and
it's
when.
even, I mean, if
and
it would
when.
even be us, because we were just the producers there. So
I mean, it's a
the-
little bit more complicated than that, but yes. It is Ironclad game. Ironclad owns Sins of a Solar Empire and is the developer. So let's see. Blink Aside says, in the campaign on Insane, there feels like there's no threat even 170 turns in. Anything to increase the threat, possibly to lose in the early or mid game. So I'm surprised that you're not feeling threatened on Insane.
I've seen that thread though on.
It might be
on
something
Steam.
specific to the campaign, which certainly we could look at.
Actually, throw my email address up there. If he could send the save file our way,
Sure.
there's
Are
all that
you
we
Scott
can.
at,
Scott at Stardock. All we can do on the stream is speculate. But if you send me the save file, we can dig into it. We can actually see what the enemy is doing.
he's not. The threat isn't growing on him, and this is something that I've actually noticed a little bit too. He says he's still at one threat, controlling 2/3 of the map, 170 turns in. So,
what's your doomsday at?
Oh, that's a good question. Because my assumption would be that if you're still at no threat, he should be beating on the shards pretty good.
Yeah.
Unless you've managed to actually like outpost most of the shards and he's just not throwing enough at them.
Or maybe there aren't enough shards nearby. I mean, that's a handmade map.
It's a handmade. It's larger than the largest maps.
Yeah.
That
So
we
I
get
wonder
out
if
of random map gen. So it might be a map issue there.
Yeah.
Oh, almost nothing. I keep lowering it. Okay, so he's got a ton of mana to just spam reduce Doomsday.
Sure.
So gosh, I think. That's tough.
I'll have to look.
I think
and
we
see.
do need to be a little bit more aggressive with threat, though, because I've noticed in this game too, I've been able to keep threat really low, and it might be a matter of pushing the SK, having the SK drop strongholds more aggressively on hard and insane.
Yeah.
Because on normal, like we have to be really careful with making normal harder, because normal is already really
yeah.
hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to say that like, man, there's so many people that are bad at the game, but like if you don't know the mechanics, you don't like pay attention and play a lot of strategy games and understand the mechanics, normal can be really hard because it's like, oh man, why are the shards dying? And oh my god, now I have this doomsday counter, and like it can be challenging, and it is a different kind of a game. So we have to be really careful with normal. But on hard and insane, it might be just a matter of like we need to push him out there, because if he's taking over all those city spots and he's blowing up those shards, you're going to have to go out there and beat on him, which is going to up your threat naturally. So that would be my first place that I would look to increase that. So yeah. Blinkaside says he's selecting quest options to lower it. We dropped that down really. It used to be that like every quest at lowered Doomsday lowered it by like 5, which was way too much. We dropped the majority of those down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if some actually.
But everybody that talks about Doomsday being a non-issue tends to talk about quests.
They
so
do.
It's got to be.
They do. So I mean, maybe we need to do another and take a harder line on it. Be like, no quest ever drops Doomsday more than 2.
Yeah.
You know, do that, which is what Brad had originally asked for, and then
that's what
like,
we did. But
but not for the ones that require either a hard fight or a trait choice.
Oh, okay.
So like if there's a courageous choice, some of the courageous choices still drop it by like 4 or 5.
Gotcha.
So we might need to drop those to 2 across the board. And I have no idea if the code would support this, but I think that Reduced Doomsday needs to scale with something. It needs, because 100 mana is either a jillion or trivial, depending on how much mana you're generating.
No. At that dinner, Brad said something about Reduced Doomsday, but
there's a good idea. And I have not read through the whole forum, so this might have come up on the forum. But the CW and Nio Rex say having a Doomsday floor where the Doomsday can't drop below the turn counter. So if you're on turn 100, you can't drop it past. There might be some combination of threat and turn counter, actually, because turn counter itself is probably too low. Because like on turn 100 Doomsday is it's not a huge deal. That's not a bad idea though. The Doomsday floor. I like that.
The Doomsday thing. I mean, I'm just so worried about anything involving Doomsday, because I don't know if you have seen all the Steam threads and all the complaints about just
Doomsday feels like too hard.
I don't even know if it feels hard. There's just like this preconceived fear of the Doomsday counter in a 4X game.
Yeah.
And I swear, like, we tackled it.
Yeah.
You can testify. Like, this whole project, we have said people are going to be afraid of this. We need to make sure it's malleable. And so the system that got in is, I would argue that it's too malleable. I mean, it's really easy to make Doomsday a non-issue.
We could. We could make. I think if we do 3 things, really. I think making it not possible to keep your threat that low for that long.
Yeah.
Because that's the other issue is that like you can just kind of kiss a Sorcerer King's ass and keep your threat low, and it's like, oh, I got a point of cowardice, whatever, I'll deal with it. And so making that, because we dialed that back a little bit, but I think we could dial that back further. To make him go after strongholds, locations, and shards more aggressively on hard and insane.
Yeah.
And then either give the Doomsday a floor or turn the quest down, give Doomsday a floor, and or make reduced Doomsday scale and cost. So it's like it costs 100.
Oh,
then it costs 150. Then it costs 200.
Yeah.
Right? So that you can't just keep spamming, because that's a problem.
Yeah.
And Blink Aside brought up too in the chat that
is there a
Into
cooldown?
the Light. I don't believe there's
we got.
He brought up that Into the Light makes it, because even with we knocked down Into the Light dramatically by dropping it to scale for 1 per shard. I think we need to give it a flat value. I think we just have to take the scaling out completely.
Okay.
I think we can keep scaling the damage, but just keep the mana at, because it's still a free damage spell that can't be resisted, which is nice.
Sure.
So it's like 3+1 per shard. It feels actually pretty good.
And
for
it's
damage.
really, I mean, it's not supposed to. That's the thing, is not all abilities, not all spells are supposed to scale into the late game. At some point, you flip over and start getting mana elsewhere. So it's really supposed to be a.
So if we just change it to, it just gives you 4 mana.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 3+1 per shard right now.
Yeah.
If we change it to just being 4, I think that would solve that a lot, because then at that point you're gonna get into the late game and it's gonna be like, okay, this thing does like no damage, and I get 4 mana. I don't care about 4 mana. I'm going to do other things, which is fine, because we want to be cutting down on the number of spells that you really care about.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. The other thing I've seen people ask for is like favoriting spells, or having some kind of way to do something like that, which is that would require a bit of UI work, and some other stuff. So I don't know how we do that. I would love that personally.
I would rather make it so all spells are super useful. Like every spell should be a favorite spell in the right situation.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the other problem, is that we have a lot of spells that just don't ever feel good to cast. Yeah. Blink Aside said there is a cooldown on Into the Light, but you can keep the combat going to keep using it on other guys. Yes, but it's 10 turns, and if you're doing that, then you're reaching levels of catassery that I'm just not that worried about. I was talking about Reduced Doomsday, I don't believe has a cooldown. Or if it does, it's like 1 turn. It's primarily limited by the mana cost. But if we make the mana cost scale or accumulate, then it might not. That might solve it. But I think that there's things that we can do to solve that problem that I don't think. The problem is, and this is something that when I came onto the project, because I came on pretty late onto Sorcerer King, as far as being an active role on the project. And I had all this like, oh, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this. And it's like, we can't do that because of this. We can't do that because of this. And it's like, and it's not to say that we are being too timid or we don't want to change anything or the game's perfect, so stop screwing with it. Anything like that. It's just to say that Sorcerer King is a game that has a lot of intertwining gears, to make a bad analogy about it. But it's like, I was having this discussion on another forum today. If you have something like you want to add a new difficulty option where the new where you can choose, Sorcerer King aggressiveness, like how aggressive he is with the player. And you say that, okay, so we'll do that. And then every time, if you have it lower, it's like you give a minus, you introduce a malice into the equation for when the Sorcerer King is picking what actions to do, right? Because those are all, somewhat randomized and they have inputs and outputs and stuff. You say, okay, well, it's -2 for any aggressive action toward the player. Okay, that's cool. That'll turn down as aggressiveness, but it'll be fine. And then you realize, oh, there's like 18 different AI functions that call this aggressiveness thing, and we just made it so that it never attacks cities. Because at -2 somewhere in the calculation, because there's all these different places that the data gets touched.
Yep.
And so like, and that's a totally out of my, behind. I pulled that number, and don't take that as that's the way the game is actually designed. But it's an example of the way that code works. And so it just becomes, there's a lot of things that get touched anytime you start touching that stuff. And it can become, it's very easy to break the game. And we have to be very careful about that. So anyway, I guess my point is we need to be, to some extent, conservative in the way that we approach changing those things, especially when it comes to things like threat and SK actions.
Already you see all kinds of cheese, threads about, if you do this, this, and this, you can cheese the game anytime.
Right.
And so, the more... Yeah, we just got to be careful.
Yeah, and so it's stuff like that. I think this Sovereign spell pass is going to solve a lot of things. I think if we can make some of those smaller tweaks to some of the threat things and the way the SK works, and the way he assigns actions to his units and stuff, that'll help. Because the consistent thing that I've been seeing across a lot of people's feedback is that people who really dig into the game and take the time to understand the mechanics and really understand the game and play well are just destroying it.
Yeah.
They're just destroying it to the point where it's like, oh yeah, I play on Insane and whatever. Like it ain't even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to figure out something for that, because what that tells me is that we're not scaling difficulty very effectively.
Yeah.
And we need to figure that out, because normal, I don't think we can really make normal any harder.
Mm-hmm.
Normal really should not be any harder, but hard and Insane should be. This is a hard game that you're playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I haven't fought any of the lieutenants or anything. I'm still in expansion mode. I'm about 4 hours in my save of it. And I can tell you with a great deal of certainty that I'm going to win that game, because and that's because I've played a ton of Sorcerer King and I know. But I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna win that game, because I do things like put cities on city sites instead of outposts. That's a drink for everybody, by the way. All right, I got distracted and chatty, which I do from time to time. So I apologize for that. I'm back behind on the chat, so I'm going to check that out. Let's see. Matching minimum tunes Doomsday to the turn counter is fine as long as you appropriately expose that in the UI. Yeah, we would absolutely have to do anything we do along those lines will have to be absolutely supported in the UI. I really think that we need to point people to the help menu more so than we do now. Because so many times I see people saying like, oh, I don't understand how this mechanic works. I don't understand how that works. And it's like, it's in the help. Just look it up in the help. Come on. And like, but I mean, we don't. Like, it's a little button up there in the corner of the UI, and it's really easy to miss.
Yeah.
So
a lot of information in that little button.
There's a ton of information in it, especially for new players. So I think we need to do a better job. And I don't mean to say that that's the player's fault, because it's a design truism that everybody needs to recognize and support, that if you're telling your players that they're playing the game wrong, or they didn't see something, or, oh, you're just supposed to do this,
it's your fault.
It's your fault.
Yeah.
It's you have designed the game wrong. And you need to attend to that. So anyway, that's just a philosophical thing. Let's see. I recently lost a game on Insane in 23 turns because a roving bandit group with 800 hit points walked into my first and only city.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the other problem with Insane, is that Insane is, because
That's
monsters
get
so many extra levels,
Yeah.
is the way we scale it, that it's hard. It's too hard to get off the ground, but then you hit that point of like, okay, well, my hero is now in death mode, like whatever, I win. So yeah, we definitely need to look at that a little bit. Let's see. There's a help menu ? Yeah, we need to fix that. All right. I am caught up on chat, and it's 4:00. So
oh wow, that flew by.
it did kind of. Well, I got talking about some things.
Oh,
That
man.
Ice Mage is such a D. I hate that
sweet.
guy.
Oh yeah, just took out what's her name?
Oh,
but we get to
but
see.
She
But
lives.
she's
lives.
dead. But is she?
But is she?
Bam.
Although it is, I actually like the trade-off that she doesn't get the XP for that fight.
yeah.
So that actually, like, and the same thing with heroes is like, oh, he died, but he's gonna come back. But it's like, but you're missing out on XP, and XP is serious business in Sorcerer King. Yeah. So all right.
Okay, so tomorrow 1.01 opt-in. Make sure that your opt-in option. We probably anybody who hasn't been on the stream before. How do we do the opt-in path?
Right-click your Sorcerer King in your Steam library. Go to Properties. Go to Betas. In the Betas drop-down, select Opt-in, and then hit Close or whatever, and it'll automatically patch you over. And then once the opt-in goes public, you'll automatically patch back over to the main branch.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's all pretty seamless. Steam makes that all pretty easy for us, which is great. We love our friends at Valve. Thank you very much for having such an awesome platform. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed a little. We got kind of deep into the design weeds today. But like I said, hopefully I'll be streaming a little this weekend, continue on my game to get a little bit deeper into more of the strategy of it. God, I have to turn the stream off so that I don't see Scott doing these terrible things.
See,
in
that
the
would
game.
in my build that
would
gives
heal him.
health.
That's
That would
right.
heal.
That's right. I actually like the Wisp summon though, because Healing Light is really good.
Yeah.
The AOE heal that she gets. So anyway, all right, cool. Peace out, guys.
See you guys.
We'll see you next week. Check out Offworld on Thursday, Servo on Tuesday,
Bam.
Galciv on Friday. It'll all be good. Anyway, peace out.